Hello YouTube universe and welcome to a brand new episode of the United City Randomiser here on my channel, the United City FM. If you've joined me before, then the next part of the United City Randomiser is only moments away. If this is your first time joining me, then maybe you should search out the first episode in the series, as it will give you all the information you need to know exactly what is going on and what this series is all about. Whether you're a first-time viewer or already part of the United City, having pressed the subscribe button, you are most welcome here. But as promised, the time is now for the next part of our journey together, so let's get going. Well, what a huge difference a few games can make. If you remember the last time we met together, we played Ingolstadt and we drew in that particular game. We did get another draw straight afterwards, but since then we've won 6 out of 6. I would suggest that we've been a little bit lucky occasionally in there, had a bit of luck, a bit of good fortune here and there, especially in things like the Paderborn game. They got a player sent off, which helped us enormously hold on to our slim 1-0 lead. But in the last couple of games specifically, we've begun to really look like a proper promotion candidate. We still haven't been getting a huge amount of goals from our strikers specifically, but again, it's our midfielders, wide men that have been really holding their own against the teams that we come up against. So what's that done to us in league terms? Well, it's really impressive. We're currently sitting top of the league. We've got games today against Hamburger and Darmstadt. If we could get a couple of positive results, a draw, a win maybe in 1 or 2 of those games, I think we're looking really solid for a promotion spot. So today's important. 2 games back to back. Let's see what happens. So here we are, and the team for today is fairly similar to what it has been because it's been successful. You can see the relationships are still building. Unfortunately, we got a couple of misses today. Wassi has been out for a little bit, so he's only just come back into the squad. So I've put him on the bench. Bischoff's done okay in the last couple of games that he's played. Hilsner is the other one who's had to come in for Bartram, who's still out for a couple more weeks, I believe. Let's go and check out what the issue was with him. He's got a hernia suffered in training, and he's still out for another 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, Hilsner's come in, but he's always been a good backup. He's played a fair amount this season, so that's not been too big a deal. So that's our team, fairly normal. Let's get going and see what happens. As we've been doing well recently, I didn't really feel the need to give them too much of a pep talk. I've left them with clear heads just to go in and enjoy the first half and see what happens. Obviously, Hamburger and Darmstadt are going to be difficult. They are promotion candidates themselves. They've got some very good players, so there's no guarantees of results here. But we will see if we can put in a decent performance and really push them. So let's get going on this particular game. We start off the match. It's gone off the highlights. Let's see if we can get a foothold in the game though, and maybe get an early opportunity to really cement ourselves in the game. Obviously we're away from home, which doesn't help also. So it might be that it's a bit more of a struggle than it has been recently. We've played some of the slightly lesser sides in the league in the last few games. So that's how we've been able to build up a bit of confidence and a bit of momentum again behind us. But this is the real challenge. We did beat one of our other promotion candidates in our last game quite comfortably, which I was very happy about. But you can see so far, here we go with the first highlight. That was their free kick, but a decent save. Langer, he's kept clean sheets in the last 6 games or so and looked very good doing it at times. A couple of slightly hairy moments, let's say, but all in all, I'm pleased with how he's done in the second half of the season, although quality-wise we could still do with upping it as we move forward, especially if we do end up getting promoted, which is looking more and more likely. If we can get a draw in this game away from home, I'll be more than happy with that in terms of keeping them at a distance that I think we can manage with for the rest of the season in terms of promotion push. But we're approaching the end of the first half. Fairly quiet game. Another opportunity maybe for one last attempt on goal. Maybe we can steal it from them and counter-attack on them ourselves, or are they just going to keep the ball through till half-time? We'll have to find out, but they're moving the ball comfortably in small triangles. There's a long ball that we intercept, but a bad clearance really, and they regain possession out to the left wing. Are they going to get a cross in? No, we get a decent foot in. Darday has put a decent foot in, but given it away. It looks like this is this going to end in no particular highlight, do we think, or is it just going to drift to half time? It's back and forth. Oh, there is an attempt. Oh, double save by Langer. Well done him. We can check this out. I thought this might just drift a little bit into the half-time, but no, they ended up moving the ball well. Decent through ball there, very good first stop, and a brilliant reaction save as a follow-up. Hopefully that will now see us through to half-time, and we can regroup slightly and see whether we can change our fortunes a little bit in the second half. I want to see if we can keep the confidence up, so I've suggested that they've been a little bit unlucky in the first half. Give them an opportunity to go back out again and really see what they can do. So we'll move straight into the second half. Obviously, the back end of the first half, there was a couple of chances for Hamburger, which they didn't quite take, which I'm very grateful for, but they now have a free kick, which has gone to the edge of the area. Very good block. I'm not quite sure who that was that blocked. I think it might have been Abu Hanna. But that was a very decent block. Ball straight over the top, though, that cut through our defence. But in the end, came to nothing for them, which I'm happy about. We get a long ball from the goalkeeper, but lose possession. And they'll move the ball around again, I suspect, in their little triangles and small distances. They seem to be playing quite a short passing game, just to see if they can move us about a bit. But hopefully we'll get a foot in at some point. We've got the ball back. That's very good. Can we build something? Can we find a way through? Again, we lose out, though, on their right-hand side. And they've put a long ball through again, but it's gone for a corner kick rather than a decent attempt on goal. Corner kicks can be a bit hit and miss. Are they going to get something off this one? That's a decent setup that we had, though, defensively. I'm pleased about that, and the goalkeeper's got it. This is, I think, the highlight before that led to the corner kick, which was a very good sweeping ball and didn't quite get the contact on it that he would want, and therefore it went wide. Here we go on another highlight. A few more highlights in this second half, considering it's only 4 minutes old. They had a decent shot, but it did go wide. So hopefully we'll have an opportunity to maybe show that we can do something in a minute. They've had many more shots than we have. We've not even had one on target yet, which is a bit of a problem. Might have to do a couple of things in a little while to try and change that. But we now have the ball through the centre, and again we lose out. Poor passing today has been our major problem. Defensively, we're solid as much as we can be. Oh, what's going to happen there? A decent clear off the line in the end. Goalkeeper was beaten. I think it came off the post and the defender had to clear it off the line. We are riding our luck here a lot. It might be that we eventually have to cave in on that one because we just don't seem to be able to keep them from our area. Having said that, the goalkeeper's now got it. Langer, can he find a way to set us on a good move forward? Again, we lose out, and this is very disappointing. Our passing has just not been good enough. And again, they come forward, but defensively, at least, we seem to be holding as firm as we can. Pisano now has it into Hilsner, through to Bischoff, and he has a strike on goal. I think that might have been our first one on target, possibly. Yes, it was. Well, that's a positive sign. Who knows whether we can start to build from that, but at least we showed that we're not being hemmed in all the way through the second half. 63 minutes more gone. I'll give it a couple of minutes more before I start to make a few changes, just to see if in the last 20 minutes or so we can find a way to break them down. I'm going to make those changes now. So I've made some changes. Orez and Bischoff are both apprehensive and therefore not particularly showing their qualities, so they've come off. And again, Pisano didn't really offer us enough up front, so Lapp has come on to replace him for the last bit of the game to see if we can find a way to break them down and maybe nick a win, although to be fair, I'm not sure we totally deserve it if we were to get it today. Hamburger have been very dominant. You can tell that in the amount of shots that they've had. But that's what getting promoted is all about sometimes. You have to hold as firm as you can and try and keep clean sheets in adversity and hopefully nick a goal occasionally to get wins that you weren't necessarily expecting. We've now come into the 78th minute. They've got a corner kick again. Good claim by Langer. Nobody was there really challenging. It was a fairly simple one for him to come out and claim it. Can we actually move the ball down the pitch ourselves and keep it? First attempt wasn't particularly great, but that opened up a lot of space for Lapp to move into, and he fires over the top. It was a good opportunity. Their defence opened wide open because one of them came out and tried to win the initial header, and Lapp was in loads of space but didn't really have the composure to keep the ball down and hit the target, which again, that's the story of our season for us strikers. Been very disappointing. But we're showing at least that we can hold on, not hold on even, we can play with the big boys of the division. We're not looking out of place in that respect. It's just if we do move forward and up into the next division, I think we might have to improve our quality in a couple of aspects of the team specifically, just to be able to survive even next season. But that's for another day. Today, it looks like we've got a 0-0 draw. And against our closest rival for promotion, I will happily take that. So on to the dressing room, just to suggest that actually I think we were a bit unlucky. What would I want to say? I'm not happy with it. I don't really want to bash them. I'll say we're unlucky, just to hopefully keep a bit of confidence in the side, and we'll move on to game 2 of the double header. Here we go for game 2 of the episode then, against Darmstadt. I've had to make a couple of changes. One, I've brought Wassi in. I just think he's a slightly better option than Bischoff is. The other change has been Oches has come on for Egbo, only because Egbo has had to go out of the team because he's reached his yellow card limit. So needs must occasionally. Oches hasn't really shown me much this season, but you have to occasionally play him when there's no other alternative. So that's what we've done today. Kubicek has come on for Lapp on the bench just because Lapp hasn't done a thing for us. So I'm just going to give Kubicek an opportunity to maybe come on late in the game if again Pisano fails to deliver, which is probably likely. So let's go into the game. Darmstadt are going to be playing another defensive formation really. It's the 4-1-4-1, but nobody on the attacking midfield line. So again, they're going to be trying to be hard to beat, but we're at home. We're in good form. I've told the players that if they play their own game, then they're capable of winning. So let's see if we can get a decent performance. And this is important. If we can get a decent win today, I think that really almost puts us up because it's another promotion rival that we've taken points away from and extended our lead over. So it's important, but we'll try and get the players to go in with calm heads and get a decent performance. It's started fairly slowly again. No major shots for us at all. They've had a couple. Possession stats are down a little bit, but it's our highlight, and down we come on the right hand side. Oches with the cross in, and Wassi from the distance, but straight over the top of the bar. He's got a couple of decent goals from that sort of distance in this campaign, so it's not out of the realms of possibility he can. It's their highlight though on a free kick. They took it short and brought it over to the left hand side, crossed it wide right, where we had no defenders really, but Hilsner went across and clattered straight through the player and gave away a penalty, which is disappointing. We left ourselves wide open over that side though. So Jones on the penalty and puts it in. We'll see on the 3D how close our keeper got to it, but I don't really think he moved that much. But again, yeah, all the issues came from such a wide open space on our left-hand side of defence that Hilsner felt he had to go in and try and cover, and unfortunately gave the penalty away. So we find ourselves 1 down. Disappointing. Another highlight. Their free kick comes in and a headed goal into the far top corner, it looked like. Again, defensively, we haven't looked good at all today. That's another mistake that we've made in terms of look at all of those white shirts that had got through on goal. Very disappointing. It looks like we're going to struggle for this first half, unfortunately, but we'll plug away and you never know what might come. If we could get a goal at the end of this first half, that might set us up for something in the second half. Here we go for our own opportunity, and yes, we did. Nice ball in from Wassi out wide on the free kick, and Gokken goal, who has got a few headed goals for us this season and has been one of the real strengths of our side. I'm glad I've got him on loan for next season as well, but nice headed goal, and therefore we got one back. Can we go one further in this half, or is that going to take us through to half time? Better scoreline though. There's a yellow card for them. As is always the case, I'm happy for them to pick up yellow cards as much as they like. You never know what that might lead to in the second half. 42nd minute into now, so we've got a couple of minutes of this first half left. Looks like it's going to drift away, and we'll get to half time, 1 goal down, and it's time for us to see if we can figure out a way to change that during our half time team talk. I spent much of half time telling them that the performance I expect to see from them in the second half needs to be much better. I also then built them up as much as I could, giving them all some positivity in their positional sections, just to see if we can motivate them for a better half. And as you can see, the reactions have been strong, so let's get into the second half and see if it can make a difference. At least we had that 1 goal at the end of the first half that we can build upon, hopefully. If we can get a goal in the first maybe 10-15 minutes of this second half, that would be amazing, just to get us on level par. But again, we've come out, and the shots on goal seem to be going for them rather than for us. They have picked up a few more yellow cards though, which is positive, so if we can keep running at their defence, then maybe we'll get something from that. It's their free kick coming in though. Decent attempt on goal, but from a fair distance out, and Lange had no major problems with it. And out comes the ball, so it continues to highlight. Nice spread of play over to the left. Hilsner running at his man, decides to drop it back to Orez. Good play. Burnich in the centre, back out to Orez, and the cross comes into Pisano, who loses it. But again, we pick up the loose ball from Stanko. Ochez on the right. Darde cuts inside. Burnich, nice ball over the top for Ochez. Decent ball in. A clearance again, but we again pick up the ball. And in the end, it looked like it came off Pisano's head, but went wide of the goal. Decent movement, decent passing, but again, clinical finishing is not our strength, and it really is a bit of a problem. We have experimented occasionally with dropping out our striker, but it hasn't always provided much of a change in our fortunes. That was a decent strike on goal though. I think that was from Burnich off the corner. A second corner, in it comes again. Far post, but it gets cleared. Pisano looks like he's going to collect the ball for us. Can we patiently build up to it? No, it's gone away. The highlight ends, and we're at the 66th, 67th minute. Still 1 goal down, so we're going to have to make a bit of a change in personnel, and then I'll think about tactical stuff as well to maybe change the way we approach the last 20 minutes. I had options to change lots of people, really. There's lots of anxiety around in the team, and not many are playing that well. I've decided to change the front team, part of the team though, just to see if we get one of those chances in the latter part of the game. Maybe one of these new players can take it, being fresh onto the pitch. So let's see if that works for us. I'm not really sure that it will. We haven't really looked very good at all today. It's very rare that we have 6.4 ratings throughout a lot of our team, but you can see that all the players coming off had got that or lower, and there's still 1 or 2 people on the team that have still got that. So very disappointing. We could do without losing to one of our promotion rivals, but that's what gaining a few points on them earlier in the season does in helping us move towards promotion, really. 5 minutes left of the game. I suspect it's probably going to drift into not a lot, but that's, as I say, that's what the rest of the season has been about, is giving us a cushion, so it's not so important at the end of the day to lose a game like this. We have maybe one last shout at a quick movement forward to get a shot away, but I doubt it's coming. I think it's probably the end of the game highlight rather than anything else. But we keep the ball, move it to the right. Ochez forward to Kinsvatter, who came on. Burnich in the centre. Wassi, has he got a long shot on it? He has, and wow, there you go. occasionally we call it wrong, and occasionally the last highlight of the game does actually provide you with something. And Wasi, I'd said earlier in this episode that he has shot from outside the box a bit this season and got a few goals from it, and that's another proof that he's got a decent shot on him. Very lovely left-footed shot right into the bottom corner, goalkeeper no chance. And that's 2-2. Maybe we are going to pick up a point that potentially we haven't looked like much in this game that we would get. But again, that's a good thing. That shows that we're going to fight to the end and keep trying all the way through. Unless, of course, they can nab another goal in another highlight just at the end of the game. We're keeping our shape well. Yeah, there you go. That's good. That's the end of that particular game. A draw that maybe we didn't look as though we were going to get, but let's see what that's done for us. I'm going to go in and what am I going to say? I'm going to say it's not good enough. Should be winning those games just to keep them motivated, and then we'll click in and see what that's done for our league position coming up to the last month or so of the season. So that's not the page I wanted to go to. We were already at it, weren't we? But there you go. 29 games played, and we're a couple of points clear at the top. But we've got a bit of a gap now between us and third place, and that's really all that matters. Can we nab one of those 2 automatic promotion spots? So we'll come back in the last couple of games of the season against Berlin and Cologne. If anything happens drastically between now and then, I might come back earlier than that, but I doubt it. I suspect this is where we'll end our season, and hopefully at that point we'll clinch promotion. So I look forward to seeing you in the next episode for that. Thanks very much for watching this episode of the United City Randomiser save. If you enjoyed the video, then why not click on the like button, as that would really help me. If you think you know anyone who would really enjoy my Football Manager content, then feel free to share this with them. But most importantly, if you would like to join my United City here on YouTube, then hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with my video releases. If you have anything you want to say about the United City save or the channel itself, then feel free to leave a comment below, but please try and be nice with each other. That'll do for today, so until next time, stay happy and healthy, and I will see you soon.